Hey everybody, welcome back to the Toy Hunter channel. So I've been doing a lot of upgrades to my 1987 Volkswagen Westfalia, and the latest upgrade is solar power. So when it comes to solar power, this is my first project. This is the first time I've ever delved into this kind of installation in a vehicle. So coming from a beginner with it, even though I have a technical background in other things, it was actually really simple, and I'm going to show you guys how I did it. There's a ton of videos on YouTube that are just kind of way too complicated, or they don't give enough information on how everything was set up. There's a lot of, oh, I did this and this and this, but it's like, it's not normal people language, so to speak. So I'm going to basically show you what I did, what I set up, the products I used, and how easy it was to set up this solar system in my Westie for $250. Okay, so let's draw a little diagram to show you guys solar power for dummies, just like me. Your solar panel will have a positive and a negative lead, and you'll run your negative and positive lead cables to your solar controller, which is a little box with a screen and all these little things that you can plug things into. All right, that will have a positive and negative lead as well. Simply connect your positive lead to the positive lead on the controller, and your negative lead to the negative lead on the controller as well. Always make sure you want to go with your negatives first and connect the positives last, because those are the lines that are hot. Now when you have these connected here, you now want to connect to your battery. So over here you have your battery, and that will have little leads on top just like this. From there, same thing. You want to connect your negative first, and you want to take that to the negative side of the battery. Then you want to take your positive side, which is over here. We're going to go all the way around, and you want to go to your positive side there. All right, so now you have your negative and your positive leads hooked up to your battery. So we've got solar panel to the controller, negative and positive from the controller to the battery. That should give you enough power right there already to power up this, and you should be seeing your solar panel charging if you have enough. Now you don't even need direction, you just need light. So now the last element to this is your inverter, and that's what's going to change your power over to normal wall power, or AC is, you know, what we call it. Same thing there. So your inverter is going to have a negative lead and a positive lead. Take your negative lead, connect that to the battery, and then you take your positive lead and you take that to the battery as well. So now you have your negative and your positive going to the same one. So you want to make sure you go to your negative and not the positive with the negative one. Bad drawing, guys. I'm not an artist. So that's your basic diagram. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys what it looks like in the van. Alright, so right here you can see my solar charge controller, and that is from Amazon. It is a Moohoo, M-O-H-O-O, 20 amp charger. So what this does is it controls your voltage going from your solar panel to your battery, and it also monitors it. So it'll slow it down to the charge if it's fully charged. So right now you can see I'm getting 13 volts on the battery, and that is pretty much a full charge. So I'm probably slowly trickling right now from the solar panel. You see the solar panel there on the left and the blinking arrow? That is telling me that it's charging my battery, and the battery is indicating that it's full by all the bars you see in the battery logo right there. There are the ins and outs that you see right there coming out. The two on the left are the positive and negative going to my solar panel. The two on the right are the positive and negative going to my battery. So I will show you that setup right now. So before I do that, let's actually show you this. So you see the solar panel is charging the battery, right? You see the blinking light? Well, let me show you that my solar panel is actually not even outside right now. I'm going to keep it loose due to not wanting to put it onto my van and mounting it permanently. But check it out. Right now it's just kind of laying in the back of the Westfalia van, and it's getting some sunlight through the window, which is therefore charging the battery. So it's actually working really nicely even inside the window. All right, so you see my leads. My leads are coming out of the controller, and those are going this way, tacked nicely along the bottom of the van. Ignore this cable. This is for my TV, because I do have a TV in the van, and that is why I want solar power. Anyways, so these cables are simply running to the back of the van and coming out of a hole back there, which I'll show you right now. Alright, so I'm at the back of the van now where I have my solar panel and I'm going to store it. I'm not going to mount this to my car for two reasons. One, I want to have some flexibility to be able to move it around with the extra cabling into the sunlight wherever I land. And two, I just don't want to put holes in my car yet. Not just yet. I might still later, but for now, it's going to stay loose and I'll show you guys my solution to keep it all clean. Alright, so this solar panel was $129 on Amazon, so this was the most expensive piece of this puzzle. And this one right here is made by Suwaki. I don't think that's right, but I'm going to roll with it. There are many different versions of solar panels you can get. I just got this one because it had pretty good reviews and the pricing was right. I didn't want a 100-watt panel because look at the back of the van. It would have just been too big, and I don't travel around enough in this to need power that much, that constantly, and to recharge that fast. So as far as the setup goes, basically you have your plus and your minus lead, just like I talked about on the controller. And these two lines are running up into the van with some extra slack and going down a hole back there. I don't know if you can see it. And that is running along the window side to the controller. So whenever I'm not using this, my solution is simply to turn it around and slide it underneath my cushion. And there we go. It is hidden and out of the way. I can either disconnect the cables here if I want, or I can just simply tuck them out of the way of the door, which is probably what I'll do, and go with that route. But either way, it's just an easy, quick solution to hide it and get it out of the way when you do not need it. Alright, so coming back into the van, you'll see the lines that I just showed you that were going out. They're coming from the back of the van, nicely cleaned up and tucked in down there along the line, and going into the positive and negative of the solar controller. And you can see, because it's under the pad, it's not charging, so I'm not overcharging my battery, even though this does have a trickle charge to monitor and slowly charge the battery when it is full. It's not going to damage your battery and overcharge it at all. So these two lines are coming out now, and you can see on the controller, maybe, it says battery. So that is very simple. This has a picture of a battery, and this has a picture of a solar panel, and I'm not sure if you can see those. You might be able to. This is running out to the battery, which I have running nicely along and zip tied along the little curtain holder thing, so it's all nice and clean, going to my battery, which is down underneath the seat. Okay, so we have some weird stuff going on with the sun because it's directly behind me right now, but we're going to take a shot at this anyways. So in here, you can see these two lines. Those are the two lines that are coming out of my solar controller and running down here and going into this little pocket where there is a battery. Okay, it's open. So you can see that the Westfalia has a little pocket for a battery with two holes on top for things just like this. And inside of here, I have a chrome 35 amp hour 12 volt battery that was $67 on Amazon, and it is smaller, just a little bit smaller than a normal car battery, maybe the size of a motorcycle battery, I would say, and it fits in here nicely, very nicely. Anyways, those two lines are just running to the positive and negative leads. Let me get my finger out of the way. As you can see right here, there is the two positive leads. Well, there's two because one of them is the inverter and one of them is the going to the solar controller. So the red one right there that you see, that one is going to the actual inverter, and that is actually going back out of there and going into the the built-in lines on this Energizer 500 watt power inverter. So basically, once you have your two lines running out of your controller to your battery, you're live. You're then taking power from the battery and just putting your inverter directly to that battery. The solar panel will just keep recharging this battery as needed. So now that your battery is charging your inverter, you simply just need to pick out whatever inverter you want. I don't need too much power. I'm simply running my TV off of this and a laptop and recharging phones and recharging camera batteries, so I don't need a lot. So 500 watts is plenty, and what I have here is I have an extension cord running, again, through the back, nicely tucked, and it is coming out right on the other side of the stove right there on top, and that is where my TV is plugged in, and gives me also two extra outlets for Blu-ray player and my laptop. And the actual solar controller has USB ports, so I could just plug my phone in there when I need to recharge that or my iPad. Now your inverter also has 2 AC inputs as well as 2 USB inputs. So I picked out this one just because I felt like the size and dimensions were going to work out the best for where I needed to put it. Because if you have a Westfalia, you know that this seat pivots, it swivels around, and so this was actually kind of the perfect size and placement for me to put this inverter to be able to still move this chair around and not have it get in the way or block it from being able to do what it needs to do. So all I have to do now is turn on my inverter whenever I need power. Okay, so when I turn on the inverter, you see now I'm drawing 12.9 volts. 12.8, 12.9, it's fluctuating there. And that's because it's seeing my TV. So let's power that on. And we'll see what it does as far as how much voltage it actually uses, how many watts. This is a 19-inch Insignia, low wattage. It's like 1.5 pounds from Best Buy. Look how clean that is, guys. That is CBS. Oh, this is just a strap to hold it to my flexible arm that I have here for driving, so it doesn't swing around. Even though you have these things to tighten, it still wants to move because, you know, it's still a TV mounted to a car. Okay, I turned the volume down so you don't have to hear that. I accidentally changed the channel too, but you can see the crystal clear TV that I got here. It's beautiful, 720p HD, and it just looks fabulous. Here is the inverter. So I'm drawing 12.6 volts right now on the TV. So that's not bad. It didn't drop very much, and I should be able to run this for quite a while. I actually haven't tested it, obviously, because it's just newly completed. So we'll see, but it should be able to give me a long time. And you see the 2 USB ports here. So I just have a couple 10-foot iPod cables. Why am I calling them the old ones? Just plug in right there no matter what. I don't need the inverter for this because this is being powered by the battery anyways. So I only need the inverter on whenever I'm powering up my TV. And you can see in here, I have my Blu-ray player and Blu-rays. And then if I need to charge a laptop while I'm working, I just do that as well. So this is it's just a phenomenal, very inexpensive solution to power problems for people that like to be outdoors, living the van life, and, you know, traveling the country and exploring everything. $250 for all these parts, and I did it myself, and it was really simple. And yeah, guys, that's it. That's how you do power in a van, or a Westie in my case.